Yo, what is up, guys? This is Troy D from the Troy D 24/7 Mall channel, your source for on point and no hype reviews. We are back again, everybody. We're back with another fragrance review right here, guys. And today I'm back at Byredo, guys. All right, today I will be talking about the latest Byredo fragrance. And although 2024 is almost over, this is actually the time when a lot of perfume houses drop a lot of nuke bombs, a lot of releases, a lot of flankers of their most popular perfumes. You know, it is, of course, the holidays and gifting season. So this is really the time, guys. Expect a lot of output from the channel from this point on. But this one right here, guys, on top of being the latest Byredo fragrance, this is an apparent Absolu flanker of one of their top sellers, their most popular perfumes in their rotation, guys. And that's evident in my channel because the OG video that I had was actually one of the most viewed in the channel. So can't wait to talk about this Absolu flanker. Let's get it. Now, before I continue, please do not forget to like and subscribe, guys, okay? Liking, subscribing, and watching the ads is a great big deal to this channel. Guys, liking, subscribing, and watching the ads helps me procure a lot of these samples in an aggressive way so I can give you guys the no hype breakdowns on all these fragrances, guys, all right? If this is the first time you have ever been to this channel, I've got over 700, well, almost 800 no hype videos on a lot of the fragrances that you guys and gals want to know about before you purchase. And if there is a fragrance that you would like to hear about that's not here on the channel, you know, feel free to comment below with your requests. That really helps me a lot as well. So thank you so much for all your support. And the fragrance that I will be talking about today is none other than Byredo Mojave Ghost Absolu. Yes, Mojave Ghost Absolu, the Absolu flanker of the OG Mojave Ghost, which interestingly released 10 years ago, exactly 10 years ago in 2014. Now it's 2024. Maybe they could have also named this Mojave Ghost 10th anniversary or Mojave Ghost X. I don't know, okay? I'm not the one that makes those decisions. But anyways, Mojave Ghost is definitely one of the most popular fragrances of the line. I mean, I really think that Mojave Ghost is one of those fragrances that really introduced clean, musky fragrances that are kind of light and airy that really, I think, a lot of women should have in their arsenal, all right? I think as a woman, you can have really nice, fruity, floral fragrances and gourmand fragrances and upscale fragrances, but there's something about that clean, musky fragrance that's really nice on a woman, especially if you want to be kind of like chic, trendy, and upscale. And I mean, I didn't collect perfumes all the way back then. I mean, the same that I do now. But I really believe that Mojave Ghost, the OG, is probably one of the fire starters, one of the OGs that really created the trend of this like musky type fragrance. Now, this Absolu flanker of the OG Mojave Ghost comes through 10 years later, guys, all right? And of course, what made me curious about this was, you know, what would be the changes that Byredo would make 10 years later to the original formula. You know, I mean, this is definitely the year of extraits. Like I said, we saw Dior do it, we saw Amouage do it, and Dior kind of did a total reinvention of the wheel when it came to their extraits. And Amouage, for example, they did some improvements to the OG that were pretty notable, and that caused the success of their own extrait line. So here we are right here with the Absolu. I mean, I'm going to say extrait, but it's the extrait / Absolu version of Mojave Ghost. Can't wait to tell you all about it because I tested this one to death. For those that are OG fans as well of Mojave Ghost, I'm sure y'all are listening. Let's go spray this thing right now. Okay, guys, now let's talk about this fragrance right here, the latest Byredo fragrance for 2024, and also the Absolu / extrait flanker for one of their best. This is none other than Mojave Ghost Absolu. Now, this opening right here, I loved it, okay? It is quite impactful, and it is pretty similar. It's kind of similar to the original because you are still getting the same notes, okay? Right here in the opening, you're going to get sapodilla, which is called chico if you are from the Philippines, one of my favorite fruits in my childhood, chico. You have it here, as well as, of course, a prominent dose of ambrette or musk mallow. Now, the ambrette here that comes in a prominent high dose, this one here is a nice replacement for musk. And ambrette to me, although it is a replacement for musk, the differentiator right here for me is that ambrette smells clean. There's something like mood enhancing about it in the beginning, and it is also clean, all right? So it's clean, musky, really non-animalic, I'd say, only ever slightly animalic, and it is slightly sweet. And it's perfect in combination with that sapodilla or the Chico. All right. Now, in the OG, the Chico really wasn't much. All right. I would say that I couldn't really smell the Chico that much, but here you can actually, smell a little bit of that Chico come in and mix in with the ambrette. But of course, if you are expecting the classic Mojave Ghost smell, you'll probably, I think your senses will be drawn towards the ambrette versus the Chico, but still the Chico blends in pretty nicely with a nice like brown sugary fruity mix into this ambrette, this musky ambrette. Now, because the ambrette is clean and like I said, slightly sweet and watery, there's something about it that is also a mood enhancer versus some other musk notes that are kind of like gradient, close the show, animalic, more sweaty, right, towards the end of other fragrances. This ambrette provides a nice mood enhancing start, and the slight fruitiness of the Chico adds to it as well. All right, so I would say that this intro is definitely slightly mood enhancing before it gets into mood calming. All right, and also because this is an Absolu, I felt the impact, the strong impact of this scent. All right, this opening right here had some impact as I sprayed it, and my wife was 10 feet away and she could still smell the scent. That's 10 feet away, kind of far from me. And she was like, oh, you sprayed a perfume. It's musk. I could smell it all the way from here. And so that's the thing too about musk, is that maybe you won't feel the strength, but others will. But because, of course, ambrette is such a nice, I would say mainstream, lovable, clean scent, I mean, you won't have a problem with that, with others smelling that. Now, 15 minutes into the fragrance, you're going to get some early violet, which of course becomes stronger and more prominent into the mid. But the violet definitely provides some slight powderiness, of course, 15 minutes into the fragrance. And it definitely mixes well with the musk, all right, and the slight fruitiness. You have some powder that does create some sort of comfort here, guys. Now, let's talk about initial sillage and projection. Of course, this fragrance started off as an aura scent. And I mean, definitely, rightfully so, because this is an Absolu version. And like I said, on the initial salvo, maybe other people 10 feet away from you will smell this right here. But for me, it was impactful enough. To me, it's an aura scent in the beginning of this fragrance. And of course, as expected, much like the original, this flanker right here will provide you with that clean, musky, confident, kind of trendy, chic feel that I would say the original pioneered back in 2014. Like I said, a lot of houses nowadays are doing this kind of thing. It's part of the gig, all right? So it is a lovable intro, like I said. And again, I feel the impact right here in the intro. And I really think that for the OG lovers, you're going to get kind of like a retro feel smelling it right here, but with a lot more impact and strength as expected from the Absolu. Okay, so now let's head into the mid of Mojave Ghost Absolu by Byredo. Now, the intro, like I said, was impactful. There's some impact to it, maybe even subliminally strong. But here in the mid, to me, Mojave Ghost Absolu, the notes of the mid get stronger. All right, stronger, thicker, more body. And right here in the mid, you've got the same exact notes of violet, magnolia, and sandalwood. And I would say that this is the mood calming stage of the scent, okay? Which is really, really cool, because normally we don't get like a combo of mood enhancing and mood calming. But here in Mojave Ghost Absolu, like I said, that ambrette with some slight fruitiness really comes out as a mood enhancer. And then right here in the mid, of course, the violet, the powderiness kind of increases here in the mid. And of course, is paired with sandalwood, which is one of those like really calming meditative notes that we all love. And the sandalwood comes here joined with that violet with some sweetness, guys. All right. Now, the contrast note is going to be magnolia. All right. So the thing about this is that it's actually straightforward, calming from here, but there is a contrast note. Now, what I like about a contrast note such as Magnolia is that really structure-wise, it keeps the fragrance interesting. And Magnolia is a floral that has a waxy lemony tinge, all right? And you can kind of smell the Magnolia cutting through that meditative, relaxing violet sandalwood combination. It just keeps it interesting, doesn't keep it boring, because really from here, it's kind of mood calming, right? But again, that Magnolia pops out as kind of like that wild card note that keeps you kind of on your toes as you are wearing this scent. You can smell the contrast of the lemony, waxy Magnolia in the mid of this scent. Now, again, for me, the mid is where you will really feel the absolute nature of this scent, okay? This one right here, I would say, is even the most powerful part of this scent, because the dry down to me, although it was long lasting as advertised, the strength though isn't as strong as the mid. And the mid coverage really goes from first hour up to probably the 6th hour of this scent. And you can really feel the strength right here. The sandalwood provides a lot of body. There's a prominent sandalwood. There's a prominent cutting note of Magnolia. There's prominent powdery violet right here in the mid. So I think Absolu-wise, the mid delivers. Okay, so now let's head into the dry down of Mojave Ghost Absolu, which also has the same notes as the original. Okay, the entire scent is structurally the same. But of course, like I said, there are some changes on the concentration. Right here in the ending, though, you've got some nice cedarwood, musk, and amber. And much like the original, the amber right here is a slight sweetener to the ending of this fragrance. And amber is a necessary evil when it comes to the ending of any fragrance. It provides like a gradient to the end. And I would say that the musk in the ending is also a gradient type of musk. And of course, cedarwood, lovely cedarwood comes in prominent here in the dry down of this fragrance. You will definitely smell a dry cedarwood note mixed in with the musks and the slight amber. Okay, so what do I think of this fragrance right here by Byredo Mojave Ghost Absolu? First and foremost, guys, this I really liked. I mean, I liked the original Mojave Ghost in terms of the clean musks, the sandalwood, kind of like that meditative, calming mood. But then also, like I said, there are some notes right here that'll keep you on your toes, like your Magnolia, your slight Chico right here. So it's like mood enhancing and mood calming at the same time. And much like the original, usage-wise, this is going to be your trendy, chic, type of clean musk fragrance that a lot of ladies nowadays really, really like. And the thing I'm going to say, though, is that this fragrance right here did not really change that much in terms of the structure. They didn't really put any additional notes, which is kind of different from the extraits of other houses where they kind of slightly reinvent the wheel. This one actually, to me, is more of like a reintroduction of the original Mojave Ghost for collectors in 2024. Now, I'm going to save you some time from watching my OG Mojave Ghost video by telling you that Mojave Ghost has one big issue, the original, and that is performance. All right, the performance of the OG, although it's very, very likable, the thing about the OG is that the smell of Mojave Ghost could get conquered by other smells, and also it felt like a here and there perfume. I mean, you can smell it, and then sometimes not, and then sometimes it would pop again, and that's not really good, all right? And really, a lot of collectors of this scent have put up with that kind of performance for 10 years, right? So this one right here to me is a reintroduction of Mojave Ghost, but this time they fixed the issues, all right? They fixed the performance issues by giving you an absolute higher concentration release. And I would say that I did not get a here and there scent when I sprayed this fragrance. It was actually strong in the beginning, thick in the mid, and even towards the end, it's not that concentrated, but it is long lasting, okay? So it never disappeared. So it's a really nice high performance version of the OG. And speaking of strength, guys, I wore this to mass yesterday. I was kind of testing it one more time before I made this review. Walked into church. It was All Saints Day for us Catholics, and there was this strong churchy incense that was in the church, and you know, I was like, oh, that's it, this fragrance is gone. This will be overwhelmed by that, just like the OG Mojave Ghost was easily overwhelmed by other smells. No, this one held its own in church. All right, this one held its own. I could still smell the muskiness, the woods, even with the strong incense smell at mass. Okay, so that's something really, really different compared to the original. And as always, like I said, this is gonna be your grabber slash upscale grabber for the ladies. This is a femme scent in my opinion, although I think some guys can pull this off, but there's just a lot of masculine musk fragrances out there for the guys. This is definitely for the trendy woman, which is, of course, this is, I would say, the style that MFK is trying to copy right now, and Le Labo, they're doing this. And like I said, I really feel like Mojave Ghost is one of the pioneers of this type of style, okay? Musky, clean, slightly sweet, chic, upscale, snobby even, Blake Lively in a simple favor. That I feel is, you know, the usage of this fragrance. And also this is, I would say, an indoor AC environments type of fragrance and even cool weather. And because of the thickness and concentration of this fragrance, this can hold its own in cold weather. It's not a fleeting scent like the original. It's kind of thick, gets strong in the mid, like I said. And the total performance, guys, this one lasted surprisingly over 16 hours. Oh my goodness. All right. The musk is definitely of a higher concentration in the end of this fragrance because the OG only lasted 7 and 9. Okay, this one was like, you know, I could still smell it 16 hours after my initial spray. Wore it all day. I didn't, you know, take a shower after. I just wanted it to go and go and go. And 16 hours later, you can still smell the musks in Mojave Ghost Absolu. Now, to me, like I said, this is a nice reintroduction of Mojave Ghost Absolu, and it's definitely a way stronger performing than the original, which already had performance issues, guys. But I don't know, to me, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like Byredo is leaning too much into this. They're leaning too much into the musks, and I hope that Byredo actually makes other scents. All right, because I really feel like right now with Desert Dawn, which I reviewed on my Instagram, that was another like musk-centric scent. And then even Animalique, which I was expecting was going to be animalic, was not. It was actually musky as well. And then you have this one too. So I don't know. When it comes to Byredo, I like him. I like the message of the brand. And maybe they're just looking at the numbers, but I feel like I'm all musked out with Byredo. All right. So if I were to choose one between Desert Dawn, Animalique, and this one, if you are a trendy woman, I would say get this one because of the performance. But really, they have a lot of redundancy with their musky scents. And finally, let's look into the price of Mojave Ghost Absolu. And this is how I knew that this one right here was a reintroduction of Mojave Ghost with, of course, you know, them plugging in the weaknesses and making it a lot better on the performance. I knew it because the price was not so far off from each other. All right, the original was like $320 for 100 ml, and of course the Absolu was like $380. So it wasn't like $500 or $600. You know, if you look at the other extraits from different houses, you can see a really huge difference in the price, and that's because, you know, they added a bunch of notes, they reinvented the whole thing. This one right here is just better concentration, better impact, stronger, performs longer, plugs in the weaknesses of the original. So, of course, on the price, guys, it won't be that crazy, okay? $320 for the original, $380 for the Absolu. That's how I knew that this right here is really, this will probably erase the original. People, if they really knew about Absolu, would probably stop buying the original and buy this instead because of the performance, guys, all right? And do I feel like it is a full bottle worthy fragrance? Of course. But of course, there's redundancy now with all the musky scents, like I mentioned, guys. But it is a full bottle worthy fragrance. And if you ran out of your original Mojave Ghost, this is a right time to actually replace it with the Absolu version. And in my opinion, y'all will never look back. This will be your new Mojave Ghost. And I would rather buy this at 60 bucks more versus the original and reapply it. No, it's not worth that. All right. Get something that's going to be thick and strong and impactful throughout the run of 16 hours, guys. And that is it. That is my no hype review on the latest fragrance right here from Byredo, and also the flanker to Mojave Ghost, the replacement. All right. No more buying Mojave Ghost. If you're a fan of Mojave Ghost, just get this one. It's only 60 bucks more, but definitely plugs in the performance issues as advertised as Byredo said that this would be a more potent and long-lasting version. Well, that's basically it. But of course, let me know in the comments below if you were disappointed that it's still pretty much the same. All right, that Byredo did not reinvent the wheel. Were you disappointed with that? Let me know in the comments below. And maybe they're listening and they'll find a way to make another flanker of Mojave Ghost. I don't know. But 10 years later, this is definitely a nice replacement for the OG. That's definitely, I would say, performance-wise, not up to par. But the scent itself is amazing, perfect for the trendy, chic, upscale woman. All right, let me know in the comments below what y'all think. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Can't wait to talk about the other fragrances in my package. I got a bunch of stuff right here from different decanters and stuff that I bought. So I can't wait to tell all about that, guys. I'll see you guys on the next video. God bless. Take care. Peace.